little about what I represent. But I want to say what the last speaker said, that you are formed before 12. And I only want to say that two things forms your persona: your nature and your nurture. Two of them combines together to make whom you are and to make whom you will become. But I would like to say this. Let me tell you a story. I didn't meet my parents until when I turned 10. They gave back to me within few months. They traveled to UK for greener pasture. So that forced me to start life early with my grandparents running here and there. And I started school. I started working at 7 months. The speed was so much that at 10, I was already in secondary school. So brilliant when I was very young. Always first. The other guy said he never took first, because I took up this the school environment as my primary environment. My grandmother was a retired headmistress, so I lived through all my life between that first year to 10 inside the school. So no wonder that I'm also all about school. Everything about me is all about school. I think I've now learned something from him. That is what formed me today. I never planned to be a professor, not even to be a lecturer or think about becoming a teacher. But somewhere along the line, here am I. That schoolboy is now also heading schools. I wanted to discuss something. I find something amazing, and I think we should all have to have this at the back of our mind. That until we make that mark, we are not entitled to any rank. It is your mark, the mark you've made, that rank you. And I think that's what, of course, that most of us have not realized as young people. Of course, I never planned to be a public figure. Of course, if you look at me, you understand that there are a lot of things that are not quite in alignment. You know, big head, big tummy, you know. But it wasn't like this. Anyway, by the time my parents came back from UK, I was already 10 years old, so we were going to secondary school, and this forcing conscription of the child to comply with their rules and regulations, coming from the village end and somebody coming from London, you know. Back when they started forcing me to do a lot of things. And of course, they loved the children from UK, you know, they had there more than myself. Obviously, you know, there is it. And I felt that nobody wanted me. Just like my daughter, I met at Una's chapel sometimes ago, and I spoke with her. She has forgotten, she was very young then. And I said, I also encourage you came to toilet. I work in the toilet anyway. In my church, I'm a toilet cleaner. So somehow, when they came, I decided to kill myself, to commit suicide. Between 13 and 15, I've attempted 3 suicides. But somehow, my grandmother encouraged me, just like her mother encouraged her. I picked up courage. I became a Muslim. Just because I hate everything about my parents, about my society, everything. I became a Muslim, and there I turned to be an imam. Somehow, let's call the story out. I finished from secondary school. I couldn't have access to university education for a good 80 years. Enough to frustrate any young man. But somehow again, the Lord turned the captivity. And I met the Lord Jesus on my way to Damascus. And he turned me back to the pathway. And as I was going up again, I received that speed again. I went to University of Lagos, yes, self-sponsored, with God's help. And I also, simultaneously, I did metallurgical engineering from Yaba Tech. So I finished the best in University of Lagos, the best chemistry in University of Lagos, the best metallurgical engineering from Yaba Tech. So together, posted to Anambra State to serve somewhere in Adaziani. I thought, so you must do something about this place. Of course, I left University of Lagos as a student union leader. Let me leave that. I Starting out as and we control erosion, we did a lot of things, and so many things. We empowered the women in the village, and we also preached the gospel. But somehow God honored His word, and I became the best copper in Onitsha local government, the best copper in Anambra State, and the best copper in Nigeria that year. Wow. Well, that was it. I came back to Anambra State to appreciate the state. I thought I finished my assignment here. I didn't know that it was just the beginning. I went to Chukwuemeka ICFA. I presented 25,000 naira to support think home philosophy. And he announced the land space for me at Ifite. Although, unfortunately, I've not received that land today. But that's by the way. That's political announcement. And with the bureaucratic processes and a lot of things. I left that one because that wasn't my target. I was not interested in building any house. Neither was I interested in also acquiring so many assets. We continued. I went back to Lagos for my postgraduate studies. I finished, and I got a job. I was posted down to Anambra State again. The beginning of the second missionary journey. That started. Of course, I married from Anambra State, from Enugu. My son is in our midst, also a PhD student. He's in our midst, he's here. We started doing some of the things we were doing. You know, I went for so many postgraduates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And somehow we started also that master's degree, the PhD, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. But yet I was a consultant because I qualified as the Chartered Industrial Economist in 1999. So I started practicing, you know, visiting industries here, establishing SMEs, building capacities. But I thought just acquiring this PhD is just presentation of so many project work that I've done in the industry. So whenever I just present to any university, they say, wow, it's very easy for them to give me PhD. So it's not just because I'm so intelligent. And somehow I found myself in Europe again. And I became a professor in Scotland and a professor in central London. While I was there, I was not satisfied with a lot of things. I wasn't satisfied. Why? Down in Nigeria, my people are not getting it right. There, everything is available. So what do? Let me return back to Nigeria and let me just do certain things that I should do and then see what I can shift base from Onitsha to Lagos and leave this, what I call jungle. Actually, I lived in Adaziane for 2 years, Umoji as a village for 17 years. I had all my children in the village and even my PhDs, most of my PhDs in the village. But when we shifted to Onitsha, I discovered the topography of Onitsha is wonderful. It's a city upon the hill. And again, with so many valleys and other hills around it. And I started comparing to the hills in the Bible and hills around with a valleys in between. I discovered that Onitsha with Nkisi River North is not ordinary. We bounded to the other side with Idemili River. It's just not ordinary. Having the face towards the west and towards the north with River Niger and Anambra Mambala, it's not just ordinary. And if you look towards the south also, you see so many things. I said, no, we started studying Onitsha as people, as a city. And of course, it started expanding before my face. It's now a contiguous city with Mkpo, from a contiguous city with Mkpo, Obosi, Ogidi, Ogunike, and so on and so forth to the Ose, to Ogbaru, not Ogbaru this side, but towards the north, we have the Ose people, we have the Nsugbe, we have the Nkwele, and going on and going forth. So the city started expanding. It's now a metropolitan city. So what happens? What was the Onitsha before now? A city where you use brand new Mercedes as taxi. It's now where we have Keke Napep that have gone back to the city as taxis. So what has happened? It's the city that produced great people like Nnamdi Azikiwe, great lawyers, great sports, legends. So what has happened? So what is the problem? And we find out that something got messed up. And that is continuous education. And while we're thinking about that, the idea, the dream of Onitsha Business School came as a platform to introduce Onitsha to the globe again, as a platform to redefine the economy, the socioeconomic of Onitsha, as a platform to bring it out from the shackles of the Civil War and reintroduce its greatness back to the world for better expression and appreciation. And when that idea came, the first man I shared with, thank God is from Onitsha, he's here today, Aligo Mong, and he's here with me. And I said, this is what is happening. Will it work? He started working about it. And when as a Christian, you pray. And I wasn't convinced because of the name Onitsha. No, if anything from, nobody expects anything good to come out of Onitsha. Isn't it? Nobody. Even you are like, you are stigmatized already, having the name of Onitsha on you. Just cross across the Niger Saba. Where are you from, Onitsha? Hey. Get your car. No, Onitsha care. No. Even Mary. And I said, no, this would be a good job for us to do. And the Lord led us into so many other things. And we started Onitsha Business School. Onitsha Business School is a center of business education excellence. What are we trying to do? We're trying to create a new natural environment that will make even business people to start thinking right. Of course, we expect this in any commercial area where, because of the aptitudeness of their choosing occupation, that will change their attitude. And we always change their attribute. And they will have unbalanced character. Even though they have the money in their hands, but they don't have the necessary cognitive components that will help them to direct it appropriately, even as they are sent in that occupation, that the point they get to a point and they will start declining. And that is the problem of Onitsha. You see, young people living in Onitsha, we lost a lot of, we're still losing anyway, our thought processes. Even though we look as if we are going hard in hard processes, building four-story buildings, building good houses in the villages, but we have lost out in thought processes. Thought processes is the intellectual components of the society. Who are the people that take decisions within the society? Who leads the young people in the society? Who are the people that direct and make decisions? Because there's a difference between decision making and decision taking. So we have so many. When we now have these three merchants, let me not call them traders, with mercantile orientation, directing their fears of a glorious city like this, of course, we will have some of the challenges we're having now. So Onitsha people came to play. Onitsha Business School came. What's our vision? What we're thinking is not just for capacity building, but a platform for expression for any person that really wants to be great. Business is not just trading. It's not just buying and selling. Business is whatever. Business is what? I have some more to say. Business, by our own definition, is making a case for a need. Of course, we have business enterprise that goes are driven by profiting. But if you are a social entrepreneur or a career officer, you can also make case for identifying it. So what we saw then was to see that we need to make this change immediately. Our vision is to be truly a world-class, an African best reference in business education, and undoubtedly global destination for business capacity building. And we started from there. We didn't look for any other thing than to craft our curriculum, craft our programs around those identified needs. And for us to be a global reference business school, we decided to affiliate with so many notable institutions outside Nigeria First and foremost, we became a member of European Council for Business Education, the first Nigerian institute to be recognized as such, or even in Africa. We move ahead to partner with CIPS, Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. We have problem with procurement and supply in this area. So how do we handle that? So we needed that. We need knowledge in procurement. So we applied, and after their inspection and supervision, they came down to Onitsha, and they not only that they accepted us as a study center, they made us the first institution in Nigeria to be the examination center. Before now, you travel to UK to write exams or to British Council anywhere in the world to write your exam. But from that time, about 7 years ago, examinations concerning CIPS UK is always with Onitsha Business School. The first time we gave it to, I will discuss this with Obi of Onitsha, Nachabi. When he saw our partnership document, he said, now I know you are of global standard. Of course, you cannot be a director in any oil company without having that certification. So apart from that, we went to ICM UK. They also came from inspection. They granted us a partnership. We went to HABMA UK. They came for inspection. They granted us a partnership, and we are accredited. We went to ICANN, Nigeria. Of course, we were given accreditation, we are assessed, and probably passed. And since that time, between that year, the first year and this year, we have produced about 60 chartered accountants from that school. Not only that, we have master classes. And I thank God that some of the students that have passed through those master classes are here. We are sure we have changed over 300 entrepreneur traders to become, we have transformed them. They are not entrepreneurs. In fact, it's a slogan in Adobe that when you make misbehave, we call you trader. Just call you trader. Once you misbehave, the value is no longer, hey, trader, he has come. And everybody is now struggling to say, no, this character should be flushed out of my life. So we have produced so many entrepreneurs. In fact, we are raising emerging entrepreneurs. And our promise is that in the next 5 years, we will have more than Dangote coming from Southeast. That's our plan. And we are already getting there. In fact, we are getting very close to that. We are very close to that. In the course of our day, we are in partnership with so many people. Of course, we've done this. We started this, what you call Nigeria Economic Intelligence Estimate. You can't be doing business without having certain information, relevant information. And how do you work? How do you take decisions? How do you plan your business if you are not you don't have the information about the economic environment you have? So we started that, and then we have so many speakers ranging from Sam Obuabunwa, we have Pat UTOMI, and so many Dr. David Vincent of Lagos Chambers of Commerce, the Chief Research Officer. And I'm telling you, by this time next year, we'll have also tried to promote our brought in anyone to this place. We also bring in Dangote to talk to our emerging entrepreneur. God's willing, that will be on our record. We also, apart from that, we look at other areas of need. We discovered that Onitsha, not only that Onitsha is a commercial hub center, a non-world trade axis all over the world that have refused to go to develop. We discovered that there are other things we can also aggregate to make this story, to change this narrative. And at one of our classes, our simulations, our PhD simulation classes, we crafted this strategy. And one of them is Onitsha City Marathon. We came up with Onitsha City Marathon, the first international marathon east of the Niger.